Hi, is this Carl?
Yes.
Hi, it's Amber.
Hey, Amber, how's it going?
Hey, good. Sorry I had to reschedule. Yeah, I ended up being at headquarters half the day today, so.
No, it's totally fine. So, for everybody who's coming to the website and checking out our previews for Texas State's coverage of South by Southwest, I'm talking with my former mentor, Dr. Amber Straughn, who is the chair of the Hubble Space Telescope's 25th anniversary celebration. I think I got your title completely correct, yes?
Yep, that's right.
Awesome. So, Amber, if you could tell me and everybody about the Hubble Touching the Universe panel and who else is going to be on it, and why is the 25th such a big deal? Other than it's the silver anniversary.
Sure. So, 2015 marks Hubble's 25th year in space. The launch anniversary is April 24th, and so we here at NASA and at ESA and our partners are excited to celebrate a year of Hubble. So we have lots of stuff going on this year. We sort of kicked things off last week at the American Astronomical Society meeting, where NASA released a beautiful new image of M16, the Pillars of Creation. So if you haven't seen that yet, definitely go check that out. We're collating all of our events and programs and press releases and ways that people can get involved on a new website at hubble25th.org. So it's hubble25th.org. So that's a great resource for people to go to find out things that are going on. But so we have a whole year of fun things planned. We obviously want to celebrate the fact that Hubble has transformed the way that we understand the universe, and it has been such a huge success for NASA and for culture, and so we're excited to celebrate it. And as you mentioned, one of our first sort of big events that we're doing is South by Southwest, so we're really excited about that. We have this panel at the interactive session to talk about Hubble, and I'll be on that panel as well as John Grunsfeld, who is the Associate Administrator of the Science Mission Directorate at NASA. So he leads all of science, or all of NASA's science missions, so not just astrophysics, but heliophysics and earth science and planetary science. And he also was an astronaut on several of the Hubble servicing missions. So he obviously has a really close relationship to Hubble, so we're excited to have him on the panel. So it's me and him, and then also Jason Callery, who's an astronomer at the Space Telescope Science Institute in Baltimore, and Alberto Conti, who is an astronomer who works at Northrop Grumman, and he'll be talking a little bit about sort of the future of astrophysics, part of which is Hubble, and part of which is the James Webb Space Telescope, which is scheduled to launch in 2018, and just like Hubble, will undoubtedly transform our understanding of the universe. So lots of exciting things going on.
So could you talk a little bit more? You mentioned ESA as our partner, and I know that ESA is also our partner with the James Webb Space Telescope. So if you could talk a little bit about the partnerships that exist at NASA with other space agencies and the contractor community.
Yeah, sure. So Hubble is again a partnership between NASA and ESA, and like you mentioned, JWST is also a partnership between NASA and ESA, and also the Canadian Space Agency. And so these are obviously all government agencies, and NASA and its international partners often get contracting companies like Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin, Ball Aerospace, those companies to actually build the hardware. So for Hubble, Lockheed Martin was that prime contractor, and for James Webb Space Telescope, Northrop Grumman is our prime contractor. And so that's sort of the way it works at a high level. And one of the great things about big NASA missions like this is that they are, they're not just a U.S. mission. They're from a partnership standpoint, international collaborations, but also from an even bigger sort of cultural standpoint, Hubble has impacted people really across the world, around the world. Its images are so beautiful and really resonate with the public. And the science that it does, the things we're able to learn about the universe that we live in from these telescopes is remarkable, and I think that really resonates with the public as well.
Yeah, I know that I said pretty often, echoing your words, it gave us a vision of the universe and ourselves. Therefore, it ends up touching on, culture and art and government and just even some of our language has ended up changing a little bit. Every now and then we have colloquialisms that end up referring to the Hubble in various ways and things of that nature. So it has affected our collective vision of ourselves and the universe over the past 25 years, which is what is so incredibly significant about that particular instrument.
Right, and it also, one of the things that I think resonates with the public so much is that Hubble is so much more than just a scientific instrument, right? It's a story, and the Hubble story is a very human story, right? Hubble overcame a whole lot of adversity early on in its mission, and it really demonstrated the great heights that NASA is capable of achieving when we went up and fixed Hubble. And it sort of, it overcame great odds, and a lot of that is thanks to the sort of what we call the Hubble heroes, including the scientists, the engineers, technicians, and the astronauts that flew 5 shuttle servicing missions to service Hubble. So it has a lot of story elements to it that make it an exciting thing, and it's clearly again changed our view of the universe as people.
Yeah, one of the remarkable parts of I guess the third act of Hubble's story was, in 1990, or not 1990, in 2007 or 2008, there was such an outcry to go back up to the telescope and repair it because it had gyroscopes that were failing and it couldn't point in anymore and things of that nature. And it wasn't just the scientific and aerospace community, it was the general public of the United States that really was up in arms about the fact that, hey, we weren't going to go fix this thing that we all like so much. And so it really echoed the other servicing missions in the sense that we sent 7 people to risk their lives to go repair this inanimate object. When with the International Space Station, we send people up there to risk their lives to do medical research. And we send them up there to go deliver supplies so people can continue living in space to do that medical research. But you see what happened with the Hubble. Culturally, it mattered so much to us that we were willing to have 7 people go do this in the most dangerous environment known to man. And then, as a byproduct of all of this work, somehow we've managed to actually improve humans' lives here on Earth with technology from Hubble, which is kind of weird that we've managed to invent medical technology off of an astrophysics instrument. But also it's improved our culture and our perspective so much, which I always thought was one of the coolest parts about the Hubble story.
Right, yeah. I mean, there's no doubt that every time NASA builds a sort of big, bold mission like this, that there are spin-off technologies that come out of it that no one ever anticipated. Just kind of in a similar sort of parallel way to the fact that there are scientific discoveries that no one anticipated. So it's really great how these missions that are intended purely for science end up impacting technology and medicine and culture in a very significant way.
One of the main premises of science is the uniform nature of existence of the universe. And one of the really great vindications of, I guess, that general assumption of science that the universe is uniform, that it is governed by the same laws and patterns everywhere, is the fact that you can study astrophysics and discover ways of detecting breast cancer earlier than before, that you can study medical science and expand humanity's capability to go into the cosmos, and that through space exploration you touch so many different things, and that's a vindication of the uniform nature of existence, that because everything follows the same rules, when you go into so far into the unknown, you end up discovering so much about other things that you already knew. And so I've always thought that was a really interesting part of space exploration that was so valuable about it in general, not just astrophysics or human flight, just all of it in general.
Yeah, sure. And I think that at a sort of fundamental human level, that's the reason so many of us become scientists, is the fact that we're curious about the natural world, and physics works, and it's really remarkable in some sense that we are able to learn as much about the universe as we have been able to.
So what aside from just general curiosity about the nature of the universe, I know that you study galactic evolution and in particular galactic collisions. And so I was wondering, how did general curiosity in seeing the stars at night in Arkansas, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Lead you to being curious about, other than the galactic web, the largest structures in the universe bumping into each other?
Well, I guess that story sort of started, like you said, when I was a kid growing up in rural Arkansas. I grew up in a very small town, and what led me on the path to become an astronomer is just the simple fact that the sky was beautiful at night, and you could see thousands and thousands of stars, and so I became curious early on about the stars, and sort of captivated by them, and wondered what was out there and how it all works. So that's really how I got my start in astronomy. And then I think I knew from a pretty young age, even the fact that I wanted to study sort of galaxies or things that are far away. I'm really interested in the sort of big picture of the evolution of the universe. And so when I got to, of course, I went to undergrad, and then when I got to grad school, the timing worked out really well. The Hubble Ultra Deep Field came out while I was in grad school. And so we had this new amazing data set available of the sort of deepest view of the universe that Hubble had ever taken. And so it was really good timing for me for my dissertation work. And just in looking at that image, there's so many things that stand out, and the remarkable sort of diversity of galaxies was one of them. So I ended up doing some projects on galaxy morphology, galaxy structures, and like as you mentioned, galaxy interactions and collisions based on data from that Hubble Ultra Deep Field.
Seems like the deep field just kind of draws people in to the enormity of the universe and becoming insanely curious about it, to the point that it changes entire careers and puts people on pathways for their careers. It's amazing that an image can do that for people. No, that's definitely true. It is a remarkable image. Well, I won't keep you any longer. So thank you again for the opportunity to come and work this fall on such an amazing project, and thank you for talking to me today. Yeah, of course, and thanks again for all of your work that you did on the anniversary work.